Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the next episode of Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our next live session. I'll be your producer for our session, but before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor channel. With that, I'll turn it over to our speaker for today. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Yaden, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining for another episode of Copilot Chronicle, and it's a most awaited episode. I could see the overwhelming response that I received, and the moment I said we have Sandeep and Mahinder, who's going to be talking about building an AI-powered approval workflow using multi-agent orchestration, I had a lot of requests asking how soon we could go live. So that's the urge that we had. So just to give you a quick walkthrough as to what this session is all about is they're going to talk about how do you design or deploy a real world business workflow, because we're just talking about agents, creating an agent, how do you communicate with the agent is not going to suffice a day-to-day activity or a real world problem. So they're going to talk about the business workflow using multiple AI agents inside the Copilot Studio. So just one agent interacting with it, it'll be like a one-way communication, because now the era is more of multi agents communicating and showing how intelligently you can collaborate, or how do you automate and make decisions kind of a more intelligent way. So we're going to learn from it. So today we have two amazing speakers: Sandeep Mishra, who's been a Microsoft MVP and the super user of Power Automate community, principal consultant with 14 years of experience in Microsoft technology, and another awesome speaker, Mahinder Pal. Again, he's been more than 15 years being an MVP. That seems to be a huge experience, Mahinder. And also, he's been like a 15 years C Sharp corner MVP and a principal consultant at HIM BAP. So, definitely, this is going to be an interesting session to dwell into it. So, I'll not take too much of my time. So, Sandeep and Mahinder, welcome to Copilot Chronicle series, and the floor is all yours. Looking forward for your session.
Thank you very much, Kamal Sri, for this giving us this opportunity. And I just want to have a little correction here on my intro here. So it's like I'm 12 times Microsoft MVP and 8 times C Sharp Corner MVP. So
Okay.
that's a little bit correction that I want to do here. Other than that, yeah, thank you very much for providing our details. So I think we already have that our bio on this. So let's quickly jump on our main topic. So here is the agenda for today. So we'll start with the introduction about approvals, and we'll see that why we need approvals, and what are that problems that we can see on the approvals, and how we will go through then the AI approvals, and then we will talk about Microsoft Copilot Studio, and then we'll start introduction about that AI agent and how we can create multi-agent orchestration, and what are the different tools that we are going to showcase today, and then the use cases that we are going to discuss today. Okay, and then we will show you demo on this on that real use cases. So I will be taking care of the PPT. So we have here PPT that I will go through, and then after that I will pass mic to my friend Sandeep, and he will take care of the demo part, and he will explain all these tools and show you demo on that. Okay. So here, the first thing that what we are going to do here, that basically is the approval. Okay, so the first question that comes in mind, that why we need approval. Okay, So in a simple scenario that we say here, that whenever we are working on some industry, whether it's a banking industry, manufacture or medical or retail or any industry, we have some limit. Okay, so in terms of your finance, in terms of your production, in terms of buying raw material, in terms of buying some inventory, so every industry have their own limit. So there is a minimum limit, there is a maximum limit, right? And when you want to cross that limit, you need approval for going beyond that limit. So maybe you need approval from your manager or from your VP. So there are some kind of approval required, or say there some kind of say yes, you can go ahead for this. Maybe let's say we are working with some customer, and we see that we are getting lots of demand from them, and we need to increase our production for this month, right? But we have a specific limit that normally we go up to this on the production. So if we want to increase the production of, obviously that will be a extra load on the machinery, that will be extra load on the workers, there will be extra load on our inventory, right? So we need some adjustment to do that. So for that, maybe we can check with our VP or the manager that we want to go with this approach. So we require approval from them. And in traditional way, we can have this approval manually. So maybe we can create some kind of document, or maybe we can verbally go ahead and tell them that okay, we got this kind of request and we need to go beyond the limit, and we need to do this kind of adjustment. Of course, when we will do this kind of adjustment, it will impact, we maybe we require some additional manpower, maybe we require some additional finance, right? So to do these kind of adjustment, so based on that, we can take this approval, like based on the document, or we can verbally communicate this approval, and that is unnecessary going to delay this process, right? The complete process will be delayed. So there could be many factor on that, there could be many human factor on that, that let's say we ask them, okay, we have this kind of thing, but they forgot, right? Or maybe we created one document and we sent that document, hand over that document to our manager, and maybe they misplaced that document, right? So these are the typical problem that we may face when we handle these kind of approval manually, right? Now, the point here is that, is there any process that we can automate this approval? And that's what we are going to talk today, that how we can use Microsoft Copilot, how we can use AI agent, and how we can use that AI agent multi-orchestration to handle these approvals. Okay, so that's the topic for today's. Now, so as I said that there are this manual approval process have some kind of issues on that. But if we convert that manual into automated, and we use the AI capabilities there, so we can use different, we can get different benefit here, right? So these approvals can be automated, so we don't need to have this manual input on that. We can have some kind of trigger, when this trigger will happen, based on the trigger our approval process can start, right? And of course it can get that contextual information from where it's initiated. So whether it's an ERP or customer engagement or any other application, from where we are initiating this approval, it can get the basic detail and share that detail on that to that manager or higher authority, and they can review that contextual information and they can immediately take that action, right? So we can avoid unnecessary delay on that. So that's the benefit here. And of course that we can increase our productivity, and definitely it will be efficient than that manual process that we traditionally use, right? So how we can automate that? So while we want to go on this automation, the first thing that we are going to use here is the Microsoft Copilot Studio. Now Microsoft Copilot Studio is basically allows us to build that AI agent which can help us to automate these tasks. Okay, so this is a no code low code platform where you don't need to write any kind of code, or you don't require any technical knowledge or any language of any programming language knowledge. you can have this just simply, you can use this studio, you have the controls, you can simply drag and drop that. So there are things that you can easily understand these. Okay, so here we can simply design our agent and we can assign the task to that agent, which depending on that requirement we can easily utilize these capabilities of the Microsoft Copilot Studio. Okay, so from here we can build that agent and we can deploy that, and depending on that our requirement, it can connect to the different data sources. So for example, let's say if we are working on the Microsoft ecosystem, and in the Microsoft ecosystem we have different application on the Microsoft cloud, which we can easily connect to the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So we can fetch the data. Let's say for example we are building some kind of agent where we need to get the data from the ERP. So we can connect with the ERP, Microsoft ERP products or Microsoft non-Microsoft ERP product. We can connect from there. We have different type of connectors that is available. Using the connectors we can easily connect to that data sources and get the data. And similar to that, if we want to connect with the SharePoint or customer engagement or any other tool, so we can easily use those connector and we can get the data from there, and we can have our logic built here on design that, which can act on the data, and according to that it can take that action that okay, based on this, so we can decide okay what should be our next step on that. Okay, so it provide a very rich UI here, so you can, it's easily, very easily understandable here. You don't need any complex things here. We can easily understand and use these capabilities of Microsoft Copilot Studio. Now, okay, so we know that this Microsoft Copilot Studio help us to build that agent, but what is agent? Now this next question that comes into mind, that what is agent? So let's take an example that when we are working on some, let's take a typical scenario that you bought some product and you are facing some issue. Now you will go and you will approach that company. So maybe let's say you have a mobile device. Okay, so you bought one mobile device and now you are approaching that company that you are facing some issue, right? So maybe you will call to them, right, directly on the customer care number. So there will be some customer care who will be taking care of your request, and they will listen that okay what problem you are having, and depending on that maybe you have some kind of query related to the functioning of your phone, or maybe you are asking some feature related that your question is related to some feature. Okay, so those kind of requests we can ask over the phone, right? Other option nowadays is that you will go to that manufacturer website, and when you will enter their website you will get a chatbot there, right? And on the chatbot you will write your query and you will get that response immediately. Okay, so what is happening there? Behind the scene we have the AI agent which is taking care of all the queries that you are posting on the chatbot. So when you will write the query, so there are predefined knowledge base that is added to the AI agents, and based on your query it is checking that okay the question that you are asking, is there answer available in the knowledge base, in that topics that we have created for the AI agent. If it will have that answer, then it will get you that answer, and then you can get your answer. But let's take an example, if you are asking some question and that's not available in the topic. Okay, so what it will do, so there are in the AI agent, when we write this set up the AI agent, there is a possibility that okay if that question cannot be answered from that existing topics, then it will pass this to the different agent. Maybe there is a different agent who have some more information on that, or if that is not the case, maybe that will be passed to the actual agent, and then actual agent will be taking care of the further communication with you. Okay, so that's what we have, the AI agent, which is basically a digital assistant which is working behind the scene, and we have configured it and we have created all the possible questions, all the possible topics, all the possible data we have already connected to the AI agent, so that when you will ask the question, it will get the prompt. Based on the prompt, it will take the decision and check on that data source. Maybe for example, if you want to get just an example, that I want to check that, okay, what is the current inventory level. Okay, maybe when we will put this prompt, this AI agent will connect to the agent, or this will directly connect to the ERP, and it will get that inventory information, and it will provide you that detail. Okay, right now we have this in inventory that is available. Okay, so those kind of thing that we can do using the AI agent. And we have the typical example of, let's say for example, service agent, customer service agent that I was just explaining. There could be if we want to have, you are working on some insurance industry, you want to do some kind of claim process. Okay, so maybe we have agent that is built specifically for handling the claim request. So if there is any question related to the claim of that insurance, it can handle all these things, right? So those type of thing we can easily build using the Copilot Studio. Now, so we have that agent, yes, so we can use that agent. But what about if, let's say, we have one agent which is handling one particular job. Okay, but let's take an example. We have some requirement where we have, our prompt can have different type of query, or and we are using multi systems. So we have different systems. We have ERP, we have customer engagement system, we have SharePoint. So we are using different system. And how about if we want to build different agent? Based on that, they will be assigned to a particular task, and they will be taking care of their own particular task when the prompt will come. And it, based on the prompt, it will be decided which of the agent is going to take care of this request. Okay, and that's what we call multi-agent. Okay, now what is multi-agent orchestration? So let's take a very simple example here. I will try to explain it in a very simple way. Let's say, for example, when we are working in a team, right? In a team, we have a manager, right? So what is the task of manager? The task of manager is basically managing all the team members, right? And assigning that individual duties to the team members, right? Assigning individual tasks to the team member depending on the capabilities of the team member, right? So in the same way, when we have the multiple agents here, we need to have something which will manage all these multi-agents. And that's what we have, that orchestration. So multi-agent orchestration is just like a manager which manage all the different agents, and it will check that when you will get the prompt, it will see that based on the prompt where your request should go, and your request should go to the dedicated AI agent, and that will be taking care of your request. Maybe that dedicated AI agent has another AI agent that is working, these two are working together, and then get your response from there, right? So those kind of there's architecture that we have here, we call this multi-agent orchestration. So as you can see here, we have this on that screen, we have the different AI agent that is created, right? So this agent is basically handling for the financial part, some is handling for the complaints, some is handling for the messages, some is handling for the ERP request. So those type of agent we can easily build and do communicate each other using the multi-agent orchestration. Okay, so now here what we are going to showcase today, so we are using these tools here, Microsoft tools. Now every business who use the Microsoft productivity tool, these are the common tools that every business use, right? Who are using Microsoft productivity tools, so they are using these tools. So the first is the Microsoft team, right? So they use this for day-to-day communication. We use Microsoft Teams. So for, we want to have any call with the customer or call with the team members, so we use Microsoft Teams for that. Any chatting or any communication that we want to do, or any approval that we want to send. So those kind of thing here we use Microsoft Team. So in the same way, we can have AI agent, and we can relate AI agent with the Microsoft team. It can, post that updates or post that messages or alert, or it can automate the process using the Microsoft team too. Okay. Now, next one is the SharePoint. So SharePoint is basically, we have the document management system where basically we store our document, and we have different type of capabilities that is available on the SharePoint. So a agent can also take care, use this SharePoint capabilities, and it can also use SharePoint to act as a central repository. So for example, let's say if someone writing some prompt on the chatbot, okay, and that chatbot have some information that we want to store, maybe there is some document, okay, we want to store that document, or maybe that information we want to store into the SharePoint. So using the prompt, we can easily insert that data into SharePoint, and then later on it can be utilized by the AI agent to perform different decision, or maybe answering the question that is asked on the chatbot, right? The another tool that we have is Outlook, that we use for that email communication, right? So we have different type of actions that is available, which we can use on that Outlook. We can have that email, we can have this, if we want to have team meetings or any meetings, so we can manage all the calendars, so that is part of that Outlook. And same capabilities we can use in the AI agent, where we are getting email on that Outlook. We can have that AI agent which can basically read that email content, and based on that content it can take the decision. Okay, so what is the request on that email? If there is an email body, what is the request there? Or if there is an attachment on that email, it can parse that attachment, fetch the data. Maybe that data can be stored on that ERP system or customer engagement system, and depending on that it can trigger further workflows, or further Power Automate, or further AI agent, right? And next is the Power Automate. That's basically a workflow engine that we use in our day-to-day automation. So whenever you want to automate that, we have this workflow engine. We have different type of connectors that is part of the Microsoft Power Automate. We can connect using those connector, fetch the data from the source system, and apply different type of controls. So just simply drag and drop things, and you just need to configure your connection strings there. You just need to provide whatever authentication that you are using, and then after that you can use different actions that is part of the Power Automate, depending on the connector we are using, right? And AI, while building the AI agent, we can use the Power Automate capabilities, and using that only we can make this complete process automated. Okay, so there is another tool that we are using. Sorry, here it's somehow hidden on that, but that's Microsoft Forms. Okay, and Microsoft Forms is basically here mostly we use for the survey, or if you want to take some input from the user, we can use Microsoft Forms, where we can build forms easily. We have drag and drop controls. We can very quickly design that forms, and once the data is submitted on the forms, that data can be utilized using the different these tools. So we can use like AI agent can utilize the data. Based on the data, again it can submit the data to the any source system, or it can utilize the information to respond the query, or respond that prompt or question what user is asking. Okay, so these are the tool that we are going to use today in our demo. So let's see what are the use case that we are going to showcase today. So first thing is the forms to SharePoint. So in the first use case, we will show that if someone submit form Microsoft Forms, and they feed the data on that, when they will submit the data, Copilot agent will read the data, and it will do the validation, it will do the approval, and based on the check it will insert the data into the SharePoint list. Okay, so whatever data that is added on the prompt, it will read the data, and it will set data into SharePoint. The another use case that we are going to use here today, parsing that email. So for example, let's say you are getting some quotation request, okay, and maybe in the email you have some request or there is an attachment that is coming on that email. So AI agent will detect if there is a attachment on that email. It will extract that whatever information that is part of the PDF, that is part of the email, and based on that it will take the decision that it need to post that on the team channel, or it need to send that on the email. Okay, so those kind of thing it can do. And the third one is the travel allowances. So for example, when in any company, when we want to make some travel, right, we are going maybe to for the client meeting, or maybe for another requirement, so we want to get the allowances, right, whatever amount we have spent, we want to get that amount. So this third agent that we have built here, it will basically, you will provide the prompt. On the prompt you will write your request that okay, these are that you want to go from here to there. So based on this your information, it will fetch that detail depending on the company policy, that okay, if you are going from here to there, or how much money is that they will be going to allocate, or they will be approved. So that type of decision it will take, and it will calculate that expense, and then it will pass that using the Power Automate for the approval. And then it will notify to the user as well, okay, your expense is approved or it is rejected, so that depending on that it can take the further action. So these are the three use cases that we are going to showcase today. And now I will pass mic to my friend Sandeep, and he will showcase these use cases, and he will do the demo for this multi-agent orchestration. Over to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, thank you, Mahendra. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
So is it visible?
No, yeah, yeah, it's loading now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
So
see it.
as you talk, so the thing we are going to discuss here, like our main agent can receive order by email, then might be the using chat query, and might be using a Microsoft form. So then the main agent will decide that which agent need to like engage for that particular uh, process. For example, if we are receiving data from Microsoft form, like for a vendor registration, it will decide that it needs to call vendor approval process, and in that one vendor approval process, it will check for the GST number and then insert in a SharePoint. Like if we are getting any purchase order in a PDF by email, it will call the PO agent, and then PO agent will extract the data and then send for the approval to respective person. And then the third one, like whenever we are getting any query, it will go for the travel agent. It will read the policies in the document and then response back to the back in chat and send email to the user. So this is what we have. So let's go back to the Copilot Studio, and this is our main agent. So let's I will just explain the elements we have in this agent. The very first thing, that is name. So as per your requirement, you can add the name, description here. So about the agent, like what this agent is all about, that is what we'll add here. Then the very important point, that is what we need to take care here, is that is orchestration. So if we will disable it, it will not able to call the child agents, or it will just based on the topics. So earlier when we were creating virtual agents, you might have noticed that we just need to create a topic based kind of flow, where we are receiving query, and then we are based on the query, we are just going through a flow, and those kind of flow you can see here. So if you will disable this and go in a classical mode, it will work just based on your questions. But in case of when we're creating multi-agent, it's very important to enable this orchestration, that is generative AI, and then AI will able to decide, make the plan and decide that which agent needs to engage. And then here, like the data, like whatever, like how many calls we are making, how many successful, all those kind of data you can see here. The next important thing, that is instruction. So the difference between the description and the instruction, description is all about when you are talking about the what this agent is all about. and instruction is how this agent is going to work. So here you need to be very careful when you are writing the steps, like what it needs to do when it is receiving the form data, or it's receiving the email PDF, or it's receiving the chat query. So this is what you can see, like you are the approval orchestrator and the main agent who knows all about the child agents, and then when you need to call the respective agents, that is what I added here. As we know that for every agent we need to add the knowledge base. So here, like whatever information you have in a PDF document or in a website, or uh, you can say like these are the sources available, like public websites, SharePoint, or Azure AI search, or Dataverse, or Microsoft Dynamics business applications, or third party applications like Salesforce or Azure SQL DB. That is what you can connect here as a knowledge base. So whenever we'll ask question, or whenever AI is going to make the plan, it will consider the knowledge base, and based on that it will make the plan, and later on it will execute it. Also you want that it should search from the web, so you just need to enable it. And then my friend, like when we are talking about the agent, the difference here we need to understand, like what is generative AI and what is agent. When we are talking about the generative AI, that is LLM. So LLM is kind of a brain, and the tools, like for example, we have brain and we have hands, legs. So those are the two tools. So tools are the, you can say you are giving AI ability to do something, and tools are very much specific to the task you want to perform in your business. For example, in our case, we are going to send the email, we are going to uh, like read the PDF. So those kind of tools you can add here. So if you click on tools, you can see these many tools are available, and also like connectors you can add. You can add a flow chart, or you can add other servers, like models you can add here, which you hosted on any other server. And then here trigger points. So as I told you that here you can see we might can receive data from the form, we might can receive PDFs from email. So these are the trigger points. Like whenever we are receiving the email, agent will get hooked, and then agent will read the data and decide that which agent, like which child agent it needs to call. So we have an email, like whenever we are receiving the email, then we have the agent form, like vendor is posting their data. So these are the two trigger points we have in this demo. And then we have three agents, one for PO agent, one for the travel, and one for the vendor approval agent. So that is what we are going to utilize. Here is the suggested prompts, like when we want that whenever we are publishing this on Microsoft Teams, or we are publishing this, you can say on any public website, what are the by default prompts will be there which user can use to start the chat. So same thing you can see here, like the whatever we discussed, all these elements are also available as a tab. So you can go here, add knowledge base, you can add tools here, you can add agents. And if you are using some topic based, like you want that in some cases, if user is asking this topic, this flow should work, in that case you can also add topics. So here all those activities, when agent is running, you can come here and see that how it is working. So mainly for debug purpose you can use this. And then we have channels to publish this agent. So in multi-agent orchestration, you can see like earlier when we were creating agent, that was mainly to just create an agent and use the generative AI to answer the questions, but we didn't have this feature to add multiple agents under one agent. So now you can see we have agents here, and that is what making it multi-agent, like giving it a multi-agent capability. So you can see like three agents I added. I just going to give a small demo, and then we'll decode that how I created this demo. So this is the form. So I will just submit this form. So I will add email address, gmail.com, then business detail, And GST number, I will just add a demo number. And let me submit. So we'll go back to the agent and see that. So now we posted. So main agent will get will get triggered, and then it will decide that which agent needs to engage. So you can see like the vendor approval agent. So if we will open this, we can see that the form is submitted. Then main agent, like our main agent, decided that based on the data receiving by this form, it needs to call the vendor approval agent, and then it's calling a Power Automate flow, and then checking that GST number is available or not, and based on that, it's making an entry in SharePoint. So let's go back to the SharePoint and see here. So you can see like we have one record here, and then it's checking for the other steps. We don't have any other step after this. The second agent, I will give examples. I will just go here and send an email to my email address, purchase order, and I have a purchase order PDF. I will attach and send. So let me see if I received here. So we just need to wait. It will take a little bit time to sync. So once it will receive and triggered, then we will able to see here the flow that is running for the email PDF extracts to PDF extract the PDF, and then it will call the agent. So let me refresh. It can take a little bit time. Let me see if we got here. Yes, we got email. So our second agent is all about like receiving PDF, extracting data from the PDF, and then sending email. So you can see like based on the data, the main agent decided that to call the PO agent, and it's sending email for approval. So let me see if I received. So I received an email for approval. And in the third scenario, I will go back here, and that is using chat. So I will go back here and ask a question. So we already uploaded policies. So let me show that. So this document I uploaded in our travel agent. So based on that, whenever I will ask question, it will search in the document. The main agent will decide that to engage the travel agent, and then travel agent will search data and give response back to the chat. So let me remove and ask. So it's searching for the data. So now we got information back in chat. So these are the like three cases, and all these three cases based on the three agents we created in this particular demo. So I'm just going to decode and explain that what are the challenges or what are the things you need to care when you are creating these agents. So the very first thing you can see, like whenever you are attaching a Microsoft form, you can see I added a Microsoft form as a trigger. So if we just click on edit, you will see that edit in Power Automate. It means that whenever you are adding a trigger is nothing more than a Power Automate flow for this particular agent. So by default, what will happen that you can see, like whenever you are attaching a form, it will not able to pass the complete data we are receiving from that form. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to customize a little bit. So what I did, I created a variable, and then I added a get response detail, and then whatever information I am receiving from this particular form, that is what I am composing here as a string, and we are passing back to the uh, Copilot. So now Copilot will able to read the data whatever we are receiving from a Microsoft form. Like if you are directly, like by default, you will get ability to add a form here, and then you will try to extract the data, like use the data in this Copilot flow. You will not able to use that, and that's why it's very important that whenever you are adding a Microsoft form, you just open it in a Power Automate flow, and then you need to create a variable and pass as a string. If you are taking any other like other type, you will not able to pass it back to the Copilot. So that's the first thing you need to do when you are attaching. Similar, like when you are adding a email trigger, that is that is also you can add in a Power Automate. In that case also you can see, like it's just passing the email metadata. So you will not able to get the data like the PDFs or the attachment you are receiving in this particular email. In that case also you need to create a variable, then get the PDF, read the data from the PDF. So here what I'm doing is, like I'm like on when new email arrives, in that case I'm just using a AI builder and extracting data from the AI builder, and then creating a variable with the information I need back in Copilot, and then passing to the Copilot. So these are the things, like whenever you are creating a trigger, you make sure that the proper information you are passing to the Copilot, then Copilot will able to decide that what to do. Otherwise, you will add the triggers, and the Copilot will not able to receive the proper data, and it will not able to do the respective work. And then, like whenever you are adding any agent, for example, if you go here in agent, so this agent, you can see this is the child agent. So whenever we are adding a agent, we have two options. For example, if I go here in agent and click on new agent, so you will get two options. One option is create a agent. So in case when you want modular kind of things within the agent, in that case you can use create uh, agent. And in case like when you created an agent but you want that agent, you are not sure that agent will part of one agent or multiple uh, agents. For example, we create an agent for HR module, and we think that that agent could be used in multiple agents. In that case, you can create an independent agent, and then you can attach this. So here two agents you can see, those are the independent, and one agent is a child agent. So both options are available. When you just want to create a modular kind of things within the agent, then you can create a child agent that is lightweight. When you want that, no, I will create an independent agent, and that is what I will use in multiple agents. In that case, you can create agent and attach with your main agent. And during the agent, like when you are creating, you can see like the very first thing you will give the name, and here the most important thing you need to take care, that is the description. If you are giving here something like the writing something, and that is not uh, related to the condition you are writing here, the main agent will not able to call the child agent. So that's why when we are giving the description, we make sure that the information we are giving there, that is what we will mention here, and based on that, the main agent will able to decide that which agent needs to call. So let me go here and see other conditions. For example, if I will just edit agent, but in case of child agent, we are giving some more options. For example, like based on the agent uh, chooses, it means that agent will just decide that this child agent needs to call the when a message receives. So when we're creating a lightweight child agent, we are getting these many options, like when we need to call this particular agent, when we are receiving a message, or when a custom event occur, or when something, like for example, if the user is not giving response for a while, you can call this particular agent. So we have multiple cases when we are communicating with the user. So all those conditions we can handle by here, like the custom agents, we need to redirect on a particular topic, or we need to if user is not giving response, what we need to do. So all those kind of actions, based on that you can attach this agent, and then you will give the description like you are the PO agent used for the purchase order approval process. So that is what you need to give here, like based on the information. So if you come here and you see, like if you just select vendor registration, like share the link for the vendor registration. So for example, if I go here and let me go back to the chat, and if I will write just hi, so now agent will not able to, like there is no information. Based on that, agent will decide that which child agent needs to engage. So I will write I am a new vendor. So now it will give me that form, and once I will fill this form, then it will trigger the vendor vendor approval agent for that process. So this is how, like, we can give the command, we will give the ability, like whatever information we want to collect first in the main agent, and then based on that we can decide that which agent we can engage. Apart from that, like the approval process, for example, here we can easily connect for example, if you go to the PO agent and you want to add uh, Power Automate approval process, you can click on tool and search for the flow, and for example PO agent flow. So if you go back to the PO agent flow, you will see here that I already created a PO agent flow. So you can receive the information. So you can give inputs here, and whatever inputs you will give, you will receive from the Copilot. Then you will run a approval process, and then you will send response back to the Copilot. So if I will go here and select this flow, you will get option to add and configure, and all those inputs you have in Power Automate, that is what you will able to add. So some key points you need to take care when you are configuring. So for example, once you will add, you can see all those inputs you will get here. So if you want to pass the custom information, in that case, you will just select here from the custom value and give the hard-coded value, whatever static value you want to pass. In case you want that, AI will decide that what are the inputs should be for these inputs. In that case, you will just use dynamically fill with AI. So for example, if you just save it, you will save, and you will able to call this. So we'll just save. So now you will go back in prompt here. You will open the agent here, and in instruction you just need to write that pass the information, and AI will able to read the information from the main agent and pass to this particular flow. So this is the complete flow. That is what I wanted to demonstrate. Hope this will make sense. And now I will hand over the stage back to uh, Mahendra.
Okay, thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for showcasing these use cases. So yeah, so that's what we wanted to cover today's on that multi-agent orchestration. That how we can build this orchestration where we can use multiple agents, and depending on the scenario, your orchestration can decide that okay, which is that you know agent AI agent. It will pass this responsibility, and that output will be provided that particular AI agent. So yeah, so I think that's what we wanted to cover for today's session. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks, Mahinder. Definitely, I got to know something about how businesses empower the orchestration, how smarter workflow, or like how to kind of unlock new efficiencies with AI. So, definitely, I'm sure even if you're a developer or a business innovator, or an AI enthusiastic, you must be definitely looking forward for the session. Definitely, this session is available on YouTube and it is recorded, so it's live streamed. So you will get to watch this recording. So we have a couple of questions. So I'll just pull up one of them, which I always think how, because when it comes to hallucination, I always think about how agents kind of work on this, or how does orchestrator agent kind of handle it. So, what challenge does grounding help to solve in multi agent approval workflow? I know in a unique single agent, I know how this works, but what are the challenges with grounding in a multi agent approval? Both of you, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, Sandeep, do you want to take this?
Yes, sure. The For example, in many cases, we are working for a you can say like a Middle East client, and they just have a team chat board, but their employee is based on, like, for example, they are in purchase department. At the same time, they also need to access the HR department. So we can't create multiple agents and publish in Microsoft Teams where employee can query for a particular task, search for a particular agent, and ask questions. So in that case, like whenever they are asking for purchase related queries or problems, they are just asking through the same agent, and based on that agent is deciding that what need to compile behind the scene and give the response. Whenever they are have queries related to HR policies, they are asking. So that kind of agent we created using Copilot, and that is what we can see. Like they created a combined agent, like with the all those sub agents, and based on the respective based on the data, agent is able to redirect them to the particular knowledge base, to the particular person for the approval process or for just
Mhm.
for related queries.
Okay, sounds good. One more question is like, I always think about the risk factor, security factor whenever I'm designing something. So, what a risk could actually occur in the multi-agent orchestrations, like in approval workflow is not carefully designed? What are the risks that we might face so that everybody is aware of it, or something in your experience that you have gone through and you would like to share with us?
Mahendra will take, I will take.
Yeah, see, I think you can maybe that on based on your example, you can put give some input your thought on. But in a high level, I would say like that risk could be here that if this orchestration is not designed properly, it may be that it can provide you some information that is you are not authorized for. Okay, maybe we have some kind of different because here we have the dedicated agents who are handling their dedicated work, right? So if this orchestration is not designed properly so that the pass the information to the correct agent, it can be passed to that different agent, or maybe they can try to expose some of the information that you are not authorized for, right? Or you, Sandeep, you want to add something here
Yeah.
on
So
this?
So at the very basic level, we can give this kind of like the agents, and that is where we also have security features. But when it comes to the like accessing private data, when you don't want to give the access, in that case, we can also create like the Azure Azure servers or MCP servers where you will have you can authenticate the user, and based on the like who is asking, we can authenticate that user, and based on that we can give access. Otherwise we can give option
Hmm.
like we give them message back that you are not authorized to access that information.
Okay, got it.
Even though
Sounds good.
we are connecting SharePoint, the SharePoint we can only 200 2 GB content, that is what share in the SharePoint file, that is what AI will read. So we make sure that the content should not be more than that. So in
Hmm.
case when we want that our data should be available to the multiple departments, because when we are attaching a SharePoint with Copilot using using a particular user, the only that user will able to access their data. But in some cases we want that no, this data should be available to the the whole department, or like in multiple departments. In that case we can create the Azure storage, that is where we can like rag model kind of things, and create
Hmm.
and give the access, because in that case you don't need authentication kind of things.
Definitely, definitely worth knowing about the Sandeep and Mahinder. So I think we are done with these. So I will let the audience know in case if you have any questions that we haven't addressed and you would love to know their inputs, you can reach on their social handle. So Mahinder, you can just open the slide that where you have your social connects, or you can just ping on the chat. We will share it to the audience. And thank you so much, Sandeep and Mahinder. It was great having you on the Copilot Chronicle series, and looking forward for more series from your end, or more episodes on the multi-agent orchestration. Definitely, we will have a lot of demo or real-time scenarios that you would like to share with us. So thank you so much again, and thank you, Yadan, for being a great host. And thank you all. So stay tuned for another episode on Copilot Chronicles.
Yeah,
Bye.
it's our pleasure.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Siri. Thank you, Yadin.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Bye.